It's Dr. Sashi, and it's Monday, and we are going to have a cup of tea together and just chat for a few minutes. So, I'm warming my tea cup. I had to put the kettle on and warmed my teacup because this particular tea requires a warmed cup to start. So, I'm warming the cup. Got a little hot water in there. I'm dump that now. So, the title of today's live is It's Not You. And I want to have this conversation. I think it's kind of important to talk to my sister friends out there who are feeling like they can't trust their instincts right now. That they can't trust their gut because they feel like every time they think something should go right, the universe is throwing another curveball. And so they're stopping believing in their gut. And I want to tell you, you're not crazy. It's not you. Let me just say, it's absolutely not you. Hey, Wendy, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. We are making tea, a cherry blossom tea. I think I can see that, as we chat today. So I'm not here for a long time, but I definitely wanted to get this message out there because I've had a couple of conversations. Oh, it smells amazing. Cherry blossom leaves that have been pre-steeped and are ready to go into my tea. I was having this conversation with a really good friend, and it came across in that how many of us know someone who's struggling with the idea of how come I didn't see fill in the blank, the betrayal of certain people in my life, the drama that's unfolding. There's so many little fires right now. There's just so many of them. But women especially, we rely on our intuition to keep us moderately safe and secure in the world. We trust our gut. We trust our women's intuition, if that's what you want to call it. We have this sense about us that usually picks up that there's something not right in the world. Even if we can't quite put our finger on what it is yet, we know it's up. We know there's something up. But recently, a lot of the women that I've been talking to are like, I feel like I'm adrift. I feel like I don't know what's happening. It's one of those strange feelings like I can't trust my instincts because right now my instincts are saying everything is bad and nothing is good. And of course, that's not true. Oh, look at those pretty flowers. And what I say to them is, it's not you. How on earth can your instinct, which is usually really good at picking out the anomalies in the world, right? Our instincts are really good at recognizing patterns. And when something's off in the patterns, our instinct kind of kicks up and says, hey, there's something off here. Okay? So when that happens, we kind of start paying attention. That's what instinctively means. We start to go, oh, okay, hang on a second. There's something off in the pattern, whatever the pattern may be, there's something off in the pattern, and we pick up on it. But when everything appears off, hang on just a second. Lionel, let me just tell you something, sweetheart. You can go into timeout. Thank you. But when everything seems to be going off, when every pattern around you appears to be off, your instinct has nothing to look for because everything is off. And so what would normally be you kind of going through life, doing your thing, and you would get a hit of some kind in your gut. You know, guys call it their gut check, women call it feminine instinct, whatever you want to call it. Whenever that would happen, we could pay attention to it because everything else was still normal. Okay? Every other pattern was still going like it was supposed to be going. So the anomaly would catch our attention. And that's what it was supposed to do. But what happens when everything is going sideways? When normal is not normal anymore, and you don't even know what abnormal is yet because things are still breaking. Things are still being broken. Patterns are still being turned upside down. Then we stop trusting our instincts because we just don't know what's right and what's wrong necessarily, and we don't know how to put our finger on it. And so we were talking about this in relation to health right now because so many women, especially women of my generation, are going through perimenopause or menopause. And because we're going through that on top of some pretty significant emotional stressors and cultural stressors and all that kind of thing, it can sometimes be very difficult to listen to your intuition. Because right now our intuition is screaming all the time. And usually our instinct doesn't scream all the time, right? It doesn't live to be on fire. Our instinct just kind of wants to hang out, coast along, float here and there, and for the most part, key us in on a pattern change. Hey, Cicely. But when all the patterns are changing, it's hard to hear our instincts. And so there are a couple of things that I think we have to start thinking about. Number one, it's hard to be instinctual when you're not focused. And right now, you are focused on everything. Everything. We are trying to literally focus on everything just in case we miss a big thing, right? Like everybody's got their eyes on every possible piece of the world. Hey, Celeste, thanks for joining me. Everyone's got their eyes on every possible piece of the world, right? Got to keep our eyes on the news, and got to keep our eyes on social media, got to keep our eyes on Social Security, got to keep our eyes on possibly this, got to keep our eyes on possibly that. And because of that, our instinct is sitting in the corner going, I got nothing. I can't tell you what's wrong because everything's wrong, and you're focused on everything else. I can't tell you what's wrong. Can't tell you. And so we don't hear the instinct that would sometimes say, you know, those heart palpitations might be menopause, but maybe you should call your doctor. Because right now, everyone's so stressed out that every symptom that they're experiencing is being attributed to stress. Could be true. Could also be that you need to go make a doctor's appointment, though. And instinctively, you want to believe it's just stress because you're so stressed out. But your instinct, your real instinct, never steers you wrong. Okay? What are we going to do? You're going to focus. One of the things I am preaching, especially to the generation of women who knows how to keep 7 plates spinning at all times, is you're going to have to drop 3 plates. We've got to drop 3 plates. At least 3, if not 4. And then we have to look at the 2 plates that we are still spinning and focus on them. Really focus on them. Because right now, everyone's trying to hit a moving target with their attention, hoping that they won't miss the big announcement that might come out that will change their whole life. Y'all, it is only March. It's only March. All the big announcements that have come so far, several hundred more are probably coming. Put the plate down. Put the plate down. Because if you think if I don't keep paying attention to everything, then I won't know when something is coming that's going to break me. Baby girls, we're already broken. Because our bodies are crumbling under the weight. Crumbling under the weight of not focusing. So we have got to focus. So plate number 1 is drop some social media that is not serving you. Plate number 2, drop, I talk about this all the time. Drop some tribe members that are not where you need to be right now. Plate number 3, start thinking about if you really need to be spinning the plate that keeps you in this job, in this relationship, on that block, in this house. Plate number 4, maybe it's time to start thinking about the next chapter. What are you going to do with the rest of your life if nothing changes right now? Plate number 5 and 6, drop them on the ground. Because what do you need to be spinning them for? Just drop them on the ground. If they break, buy new plates. If they don't break, they'll be there when you get back. Ultimately, I want us to start to focus in on the things that are very important, not only for our survival, but for our living. I titled this, It's Not You. And that is because the amount of overwhelm and the shock and awe and the crazy factor that's exhibiting in the world is by design. They're doing it to you on purpose. The whole purpose is to keep you off your feet and not trusting your gut. Because let me tell you something. A lot of us, if we were being honest, what's happening right now, we understood collectively on November 5th that something had changed, but we weren't talking about it yet. We didn't voice the opinions that a lot of us were starting to feel around November as that election got closer, that something doesn't feel right, because we were very much hoping that sanity would prevail. But Gen X, we're students of history. And the one thing that we know for certain is that it repeats itself to the detriment of everybody who was involved the first time. And because we know things tend to repeat itself, and we knew what country we lived in, we were disappointed, but not shocked. But we also didn't have time to prepare, which is the point of shock and awe, right? It is the point of throwing people off with all of this information and all of this activity and all of this bad stuff, is to keep you off your toes so that you don't hear yourself saying, hey, listen, let me back your blood pressure down a little bit right now. Let me just bring it back down just a hair. Remember when I told you that we have been through this before? That we actually have the blueprint on how to survive a lot of things? Why are you letting this person throw you so off balance? And that's the kicker, right? Our instincts we can't hear them because, thank you, exactly, Celeste, because of the flooding of the zone. That's by design. So since it's by design and we can see it, we know the playbook. Hell, y'all, we probably helped them write the playbook at some point. Since we know the playbook, it's time that we use the playbook against the outside world. And that means you're going to need to start pulling back. You're going to need to start structuring your life in such a way that it is you first, then the family, then the job, then job, community can be on the same line. That's fine. Job, community, job, whatever. Then the bigger community, then the nation, then the world. The flood that is happening is designed for you to stop paying attention to level 1 and to be scared about what's happening at level 5. And we know that the only way that anything ever changes is when we start focusing on level 1. The overwhelm is intentional. The shock and awe is deliberate. It's not your fault that your instincts have gone into hiding. It's not your fault that you don't trust your gut. It's just not. It's not your fault that you believed in people who let you down. Why wouldn't you have believed in people? There was no reason not to, because even though history does repeat itself, we also have hope that it won't, right? We had hope that we had made enough strides with people that they wouldn't disappoint us when we needed them the most, and they did. Your instincts weren't wrong. Those people lied to you. They literally lied in your face. So don't beat yourself up for not having known better. You can't outlie a liar. You simply can't. And I posted this on my channel. None of us have been through the FBI School of Master Manipulation to be able to spot the liar from a mile away. None of us have. And since we haven't, we're just disappointed. We're disappointed. And we're also afraid that we trusted too much the wrong people. That is why I talk so much about pruning your tribe. The sooner you start to realize that you may not have known what they could have been, but now that you know who they are, blank, 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 it's time to get them out of your lives. Because the only way that you're going to start to trust yourself again and trust your gut again is by removing the toxic people who, allowed you to believe that you knew them when you really didn't. So like I said, had this conversation with some girlfriends this weekend. We really were struggling with how do we get people, especially women, who are so grounded in their intuition, to recognize that it's not that their intuition is broken right now. It's just that there's too much noise. What can we give them so that there's not so much noise? Well, I've been watching the Star Wars movies. My kid and I are watching Bad Batch because we're huge Star Wars fans. And because I was watching the Star Wars movies, I made a post out on social media that I'm baffled at the number of Star Wars fans who are also fans of fascism. But that's a conversation for another day. You've got to find a way to reconnect your truth with your instincts. Okay? You've got to find a way to reset your instinct's ability to see patterns of behavior and respond accordingly. Because right now, everyone's cortisol levels are so high that no one is quite sure if they're having a heart attack, a panic attack, an anxiety attack, or it's just menopause. Right? Like, that's the reality for so many women right now. Am I having a heart attack? Just a panic attack? Anxiety attack? Is it menopause? Or is it lack of sleep? Which is it? What thing is it that's causing me to feel this way? And the answer is no idea, because everything is a four-alarm fire right now and nothing is certain. So we've got to return some certainty to our day. We start small. I can guarantee you every day I'm gonna have a cup of tea. For those of you who've been watching me for a while, the kitty cats often make an appearance on the cup. I put patterns into my day so that if something is off, my instincts can go, that's not right. For example, today I was teaching class. I'm a college professor. I was teaching class. The alarm went off. Not supposed to be going off. Fire alarm went off. That is a pattern outside of the norm. I also live in Tornado Alley. It's also spring. We've had lots of storms moving through. I know that pattern very well. So when that alarm goes off, I pay attention. However, like I explained to my class, if this were the first Tuesday of the month in Kansas, and I heard that same alarm going off, that same siren, it wouldn't even faze me because it would be a testing of the emergency broadcast system. That's what our instincts are for. Our instincts take in the lay of the land and go, oh, it's Tuesday, first of the month. Don't even get up. Don't even move. Don't even break a sweat. Might not even mention it. But when it's not Tuesday, the beginning of the month, and it's been storming and tornadoes were around the past few days and there are storms coming, and I turned on the weather to make sure that I was paying attention to what was happening. Now, what it was is the fire department had to get into the building and they accidentally tripped the alarm. So it was just a big deal for no reason. But my point is, our patterns save our lives. And right now, our patterns are disrupted. So I need you to get into your day and start reestablishing the patterns that allow you to sleep at night, that allow you to eat your food in peace, that allow you to think straight, that allow you to engage with people in a way that does not raise your cortisol levels way up, and to ground yourself and find yourself in the little places so that your instincts can start to speak again and not be drowned out by all the noise. Please don't forget that it's not you and it's not your fault, but it is a problem that you need to solve. That's it. That's all I got for the day. It's Dr. Sasheen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for all the comments. I really appreciate everyone taking the time to hang out with me. My tea is now cool enough to drink, so I'm going to go do that. Have a fantastic day. Please click like, subscribe, and share this video to anyone that you think might need to hear it. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care, everyone, and bye for now.